Cochin didn't hear the pre-game, but I think he'd be pretty happy that Crowley's going to Delidio, because he's been the one that's been sat on regularly in this last few weeks of the season.
So it's Friday night football. Opening bounce at Patterson Stadium. Second attempt. Marriage got it down to Cochin. Kicks it down towards half forward. Reaching for it. McFarlane spills to the back of the pack. Arriving quickly was White. Got it across to Delidio. Knights. Worked out at the 50 by Edwards. Rance goes White is still now. Greg could almost kick this. He lines up. It's a good looking effort. He's put it through. Well worked by the Tigers.
Particularly when you play interstate and you play at a stadium like Patterson Stadium, a fast start like that, Lee, is absolutely invaluable, isn't it?
I thought it was really important there that Jack Rewald was the player who received. I think one of Richmond's problems is they got three big forwards who looked like playing deep, and Rewald was at least under that footy that was kicked quickly out of the centre square, and that created the first touch and good hands for the goal.
Well, they kicked the first couple of goals last week against Collingwood. They got a fast start there, but as we know, of course, they couldn't go on with it. What about this one away from home? Umpires tonight, Chris Donlan, Jeff Dalgleish and Ray Chamberlain. Fast start by the Tigers. Marriage and Griffin to go at it. And Griffin got very high that time. Cochin, though, down towards Jackson. Might have been taken high. No free.
Mine. I think Delidio, they expect to be tagged as started on the half-forward line, so he'll come up and be an extra midfielder. That opens a bit more space for Richmond.
It worked out well out the back to Cochin. Done nicely. A long kick down towards 50. Away from Grigg. The ball rolling and over the line.
And just further on that, the Richmond forward line, they've really put some homework into the Fremantle defence. They've spread the defenders as much as they can. Revolt playing right up, and there's a huge gap of 40 or 50 metres in front of goal.
So Vickery now to do the ruck work. Griffin in front. He got first hands to it again. Delidio down there. Martin tried to get it moving forward. Important hand in there. Griffin, the big man now. The former skipper Newman. Here's Vickery. Got his boot to ball. He swings it towards the boundary line and over.
Guys, already Ross Lyons trying to swing his forward line around. Chris Mayne came off the ground. Now he's trying to get back on. Ballantyne came on. Just trying to upset the defensive structure of Richmond early, Ross Lyon.
Just one possession for the Dockers so far. Boundary throw in. Vickery won it down. Out of the congestion goes Martin, reaching over the top and giving away a free kick for the Dockers. It goes against Walters. Hooley, that's a beautiful kick. And the mark, the equal of the kick. That was no easy mark. It was coming low and hard, and McGuan able to take it cleanly.
Don't see that up very often against the Fremantle defence, for the forward to lead straight up the centre corridor into a nice vacant hole there.
Well, Griffin's the ruckman, and he was pushing back in the defensive 50. Just see him coming to screen there, just didn't put himself in the right position.
So 13 possessions to 1. McGuan trying to give the Tigers a 12-point advantage. This kick is going left, but it holds its line well enough. Fast start from Richmond. That was terrific work. They won the ball on the wing. Martin didn't mean to kick it where he kicked it, but it worked out okay. Runners through the centre square. And that finished the kick.
Doesn't matter how well you defend, if you actually get the ball into your forward line. That's where the centre square, the centre bounces particularly. Richmond won the first couple of centre bounces and got 2 goals because of those forward thrusts.
There's Luke McGuan. He's really enjoying being back in the forward line. Was recruited as a forward. Spoke to him during the week. He's got a new lease of life on his foot. He's absolutely loving playing forward.
So a big cheer from the Fremantle crowd. Their first clearance, and it comes from a free kick, Fife. Now the kick cut off momentarily. Here's Mzungu. He got it from Bradley. Handball back to Barlow. Now Kepler Bradley loops one inside 50. Ballantyne. Helbig arrived late. Free kick, you heard it from the umpire.
Big job for Helbig on Ballantyne. Really quiet last week against the Hawks. He was getting a fair bit of work on his lower back, so you just have to question his fitness levels, but certainly a barometer for the Fremantle side.
Yeah, and indeed a quiet start time. He missed a game with suspension. He squares this one up. Main the target. Rance coming off a dirty day last week. A little handball away to Hooley now. Greg to Cochin. have controlled that nicely. The handball, though, wide, looking for Helbig over the line.
Early going, and it's not good as far as Fremantle are concerned. Although they're right on their 50 now. Griffin. First hand to it. Marriage, though, got possession. Kicks it up towards the wing. Vickery let it bounce. Leads back in the race. Could have been held without it. Ibbotson back in the side tonight. Tackled brilliantly by Knights and taken down. Simply put the ball down. Bit lucky. Mzungu is in there as well. Trying to emerge with the football is Ibbotson. Going nowhere. They'll have a ball up from umpire Dalglish.
Find what Marriage did then. Will kick the ball forward out of the stoppages. I think they'll try to make sure they don't hand pass to each other and get turned over. Richmond just get it forward.
Push in the back. Aaron Edwards. Edwards, yep. Aaron Edwards.
So Edwards getting a free kick for a push in the back.
Shane Edwards, yeah. Shane Edwards.
It was a domino effect. I thought it was against Edwards. He certainly got into the back of Griffin, but he'd been pushed apparently. So he's got the football. Comes back towards half-back. Pettit, former Demon, goes inside the defensive 50. Jake Batchelor told to play on. Not much on. Goes very wide. It's not a bad kick if it stays in. It bounces obligingly for Rance. Draws a man. Gets a hand pass away. Helbig goes along the boundary line. Taken by Jackson. Having a very good season. Brent looking for Martin. Coming across on the angle was Hill. Martin robbed him of the football. McGuan gave it across towards Cochin, working double time at the interchange gates. The ball stays in initially. We'll get a whistle, and in fact they may have taken it out. Umpire hopes they did, but no, that's his job.
It's all about the strength of Martin. He's still a young man, but affected the tackle, then stripped his opponent of the ball. That's a rare talent.
So thrown up only about a metre inside the boundary. Barlow was the third man up again. We're in that little vortex, and this time it does go over. I think the boundary umpire probably happy with that result. Certainly the field umpire. It's going to be thrown in. Richmond with a fast start.
Holding, Griffin. Fremantle holding. Play on.
So Fremantle's free kick. Griffin to Neil. He gathers and goes, well, long. That's a wide and just inside the field of play. Lachie Neale was the sub last week. Came on, gave him a real spark when he was injected, Tom, early. It's got to be said, sir.
Certainly did. Nick Subin gets the relief after being dragged as a sub.
Edwards to Ellis. Out wide is Jackson running for him. This is good from the Tigers again. It's a long kick. Vickery is the target. Dawson with him, reaching over the top. Dawson's lost his footing. Spur arrives. In their heart is White. Maybe a free kick Johnson's way. Quick kick high by Revolt over the top. Mzungu, it's still a live ball in there. They wrestle and fight and tie it up, and it'll be bounced about 12 metres out from the Tigers' goal.
Well, the Richmond plan is obviously to get numbers up, half forwards up at the stoppage, and then run and carry out of it. Fremantle had numbers back, but Richmond is smashing them around the clearances at the moment.
Tossed up quickly. Backhanded down by the man making his debut, Hanneth. All outside the 50, but it's coming back. Rance into Mines. Not a good kick. And a very good mark. Mzungu, what an improving player. This gets better and better. From the Perth Football Club across the ground to another Demon locally in the WAFL. Johnson goes short on the bounce. Hanneth again. Did pretty well there. That was nice across to Ibbotson under pressure. Chips the ball in the direction of Neale. Now Pearce through midfield. Sends it down towards Walters. Walters 55 metres out, turns around, kicks it to the advantage of Barlow. Almost the mark, couldn't hang on. Marriage got the crumb, if you don't mind. Hand passes to Batchelor. Batchelor out of defence, stretching was Jackson. Made it awkward, though, by his fingertips touching the footy for Mundy.
How about the spoil there from Nick Floston, the first gamer? That was terrific stuff.
Kept his composure, didn't he? I mean, that was a panicky situation. High ball, one-on-one contest, 15 metres out, but he played it well.
Yeah, against Barlow too, who can take a really good overhead grab. Well done, Martin. He just got his boot to ball. Mzungu across to Mundy, not clearly Knights. He's coughed it up, taken by Clancy Pearce. Again, they're fisting away the defence. This time it was Batchelor. Chance for Pearce. He goes short to Walters. That was Daniel Pearce to Walters. Kepler, not this time. Grimes mopping up his Rance. His clearing kick. It's a long one. Jackson now back with courage. Oh, that's a good grab.
Held up well, the Richmond defence under pretty extreme pressure the past couple of minutes.
Loston to Martin. Drives it down towards
one spare here.
Here's White. He's about 60 metres out on the move is Vickery. It won't carry to him. It might bounce to him, though. Dawson got there in the nick of time. and was able to push it across the boundary.
Poor option wide. He didn't have eyes in the back of his head, but inboard he had Ellis, actually a spare man getting him forward, but he just immediately got drawn to the forward target rather than looking around him.
Not the start the Dockers were hoping for. Vickery knocks it down. Taken by McFarlane, concussed against the Bombers. Not a good kick, but he was under pressure. Pettit's got it now.
So Pettit outside 50, sends a high ball in the Revolt direction. Cochin a chance to fly almost. Revolt hit the deck first. Mzungu arrives. Handball okay. Wing, De Boer now. Over the footy momentarily. It's come out Hooley's way. Richmond can set up here again. Very busy, close to the line. Hooley swings it back, but McFarlane, right place, right time. And, well, the key man for them in defence. They've really welcomed him back tonight, Tom.
Yeah, severely missed last week against the Hawks. They've just got huge numbers in their defensive 50 at the moment, the Dockers, so they're going to have to be really smart working it out.
Cochin, he got it off Knights. A little ricochet. Here's McGuan, a bouncing ball, and Hill in the end. The only thing he could do there, fist the ball over the line. A rush behind. 13 zip at the moment, Lee.
This is what Richmond have to be careful, though, that they just don't get too impatient and push too hard forward, because Fremantle can hold it in there, but they've just got to make sure, Richmond, that they just can't run it out and score against.
Everton kicks it in, stretching
Like
flank,
this.
plays on immediately.
And again.
Now there's a chance for them. They've got the extra man behind Rance, who did brilliantly. Peeled off, came to meet the football and saved the day. Well done by Newman. Knocks it towards the centre circles. Now they can move. Vickery got it from Pettit. Good evasion by the big guy. Kicks inside the forward 50. Nice mark by Spur coming back.
Huge effort by Rance out on the far wing, wasn't it?
Spur to Mzungu. Mzungu, interesting. Well done by Batchelor. Stood his ground. Got rid of Mzungu. Hard against the boundary line. Knights lasers away and kicks it behind.
So nervous start by Fremantle, and Tom, we were in Launceston last week. A slow start down there as well.
Yeah, I do worry about Fremantle when they get behind. They're naturally a defensive sort of side. They don't have that ability to flick the switch and kick quick goals.
Pooley started well to Edwards. Now there's holding on here.
Holding the goal square.
Mate, you got him. You got him.
So that's a big free kick, isn't it? I'm not saying
Big
it's not
flag
there,
and jumper, Luke.
but it makes it a point blank shot at goal.
Well, this is a big call here.
See, that'll be a big contest if Jack Rewald can do well on McFarlane, because McFarlane is the key defender, so he's been given the task on Rewald.
So what a start this is going to be now for the Tigers. Jack Rewald with 3 goals last week in a losing side against Collingwood. This for 3 goals to start it off for the Tigers. Great start, Richmond.
Yeah, really positive start here from the Richmond Footy Club. Just see the free kick here, just right at the top of the screen. Just hold of the arm. Can be the defender's best friend if you get away with it, but obviously if you don't, very costly. Just on the top of the screen outside the square, you see Revolt. McFarlane grabs the arm as a defender does. Free kick certainly there, and Jack called for it and got it.
20 to Zipperuni at the moment. What's Bruce's number? I'm ringing Bruce. Apologise for that little technical problem. Fife's got the football. Fife to Hill. Outside the 50. Sends it long down towards full forward. Off hands. Bradley's got it. Oh, well done. Twice. Out of midair by Main. Grant's got the smother. Main's got the goal.
Interesting work there by Kepler. Bradley was running away from goal and then got himself in a spot of bother. We just watched the replay here. Comes up. Almost confused everyone, but great awareness here by...
Just looked like they'd actually a certain goal had been denied, the Dockers, but the second chance they got it.
Yep, one of those sort of fluky players, mate, isn't he? Would be a great teammate, I reckon.
Fremantle supporters will remember too, Tom, that Ryan Crowley couldn't do that from the...
He hit a post last week.
Even closer, actually.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy to do as you might think. And they needed that one, Fremantle. What an understatement that is. Back to 14 points. Marriage and Griffin, well done, 5. He got it across to the ruckman. Ballantyne diving into that pack, taken head on by Edwards. Cochin fired a handball out to Knights. Now Batchelor across to Grigg. In fact, it was the first game of Floston. Long now, McGuan the target. Well done, McFarlane this time. Just drifting in, third man into the contest. He read it well.
And that's the real value of Luke McFarlane. He's an all-Australian defender. He's playing on Jack Revolt, but still has the composure to dictate play as a key back.
Clancy Pearce to Barlow to McFarlane, and the mark taken by Spur out of sight. So Fremantle just want to steady and get into this match, and that was in barely.
You reckon?
Dan, what do you reckon?
No, that was out. You call that in? Where is he?
Back to Spur. They're in trouble here, Fremantle. Nothing really on, so a dangerous kick to Dawson, and now Barlow wants to run for the outer side.
This one will bounce out of bounds.
Just looking at the disposal efficiency at the moment, Freo running at 67%. It feels that way. They're just a bit messy with the ball in hand.
Can't find it. Well, Richmond, when they do get it forward, are doing a terrific job of holding it in their forward half, which is the plan B once you get it in the first place.
Tigers lead by 14. Barlow did well. Walters almost a throw. Inadvertently socket forward by Griffin. Well done, Ballantyne to space. Fife can't find the handle. Wonderful stuff by Newman, the former skipper. And he runs it across the boundary line. What a Tiger he's been. How about that? Say something nice. I get him off the ground. Takes a seat, well deserved. He's been in the action so far. Boundary throw in. Griffin taps it down. In the congestion, Martin moves the ball about 30 metres. Ellis, Jackson, time the release. Little chip over the top nicely to Vlosten from Cochin. Vlosten looks down towards half forward. White doubles back. Reading the play well though was Hill to Ibbotson. Ibbotson at centre half back.
Goes towards the outer side. Main breaking for him, and Main marks on his chest. He's got a player on, that's Bradley. The next one on is the tricky one. Long kick now down towards the first gamer. Hanneth Grimes into his back. No worries there. Free kick Fremantle.
And you take the ball well, Hanneth. I think when you make that step up from a subordinate league to the AFL, so many players just take the foot off the pedal at the last minute, but he did drive the way through and earn the free kick.
21-year-old. He doesn't have an immature body. He played 36 games in the SANFL over the previous 2 seasons, so he can hold himself. Crowley with a big fly from the Ibbotson kick. The ball might be out of bounds on the full here. Fremantle appealing for it from the Batchelor and Edwards combination, but it'll be thrown in inside 50.
Recent inside 50s. Working down the page from most recent. Knights tries to flick it back out. Marriage took his eye off the footy. Charging through, Delidio did well. Found the path. Grigg along the boundary line. That might have gone out on the full as well. That was touched across the line apparently.
Lee Cochin up to 10. Delidio only 1 possession. Too early to think about switching Crowley?
Well, he don't usually do it halfway through the first quarter, but yeah, I think he's looking dangerous, Cochin.
Knights, Ellis, Jackson slipped over. Oh, that was terrific. Slapped it out, saw the man, gave it to Martin. Hard to bring down. Martin full-chested, got through the pack, kicks inside the centre square. Falling over there was Ibbotson. Trying to wrench the ball away was Hooley. Having a shot at it to Bohr. Found it eventually, went backwards to Pearce. Pearce did the hard stuff, but ran into Vlosten, and Vlosten is a hard nut.
He cleaned on, didn't he? That's when you have that really close in contest there. It was just important, one, not to give away the free kick, but secondly, to make sure you nail the tackle. if the opposition get it.
He's looked really good tonight.
Yeah.
Another possession there. In fact, he looked really good in the NAB Cup. It's almost surprising that it's taken this long for him to make his AFL debut. Fife off the back of some good work by Fremantle. A tough tackle in there. Bouncing ball for Bradley. Bounces away.
Yeah, speaking of Foster, he's got a really strong body for an 18-year-old kid. And was a key leader for Vic Metro on the under-18s. He was captain. He was an All-Australian, so his pedigree is fantastic. It's
a Dutch name. His father, Chris, was born in Papua New Guinea. His grandparents are from Holland. Picked 9 in last year's draft. Nick Floston, a 19-year-old, kick inside 50 now for Fremantle. It bounced away from Ballantyne. Hill it was with a kick inside. Now the 2 number ones. Well done by Newman. He went to ground, but he got his body over the footy and pushed it towards the boundary. And then Hooley just helps it over for a boundary throw-in.
Now what Delidio should be doing here is going to Mundy. Take Crowley, take him next to Mundy, and then try and get the 2-on-1 going. That's the team football he needs to play.
Floston trying to help out there. He got involved with Crowley, trying to push him off Delidio. Just 15 and 14 possessions in the 2 games last year against Ryan Crowley and Fremantle. Mundy's kick inside. Mark spilt. Lucky Grimes. He mops up okay. It was Helbig that dropped the mark. Now the ball close to the boundary line. Not a good kick out again. Arriving in the nick of time is White, and the ball over the line. Grimes mopping up a couple of times. Bad miss by Helbig.
I reckon Delidio should push forward. He's a great mark on the leg. He's strong overhead. He's better off moving forward for a couple of minutes. Get Crowley uncomfortable.
Boundary throw in. Griffin. Fife, slung as he kicked, goes straight up in the air. Marriage tried to reach it. Ellis found it on the deck and kicks inside the centre square. Revolt trying to give it off. Well done by Edwards. Much improved player. Ellis looking good. Back towards full forward. Dangerous situation. Johnson well aware that Vickery is in his hip pocket. Vickery goes. Put down by Johnson. Loose ball at the top of the square. Getting back to Zungu. Played it Mason. Clancy Pearce.
Johnson will be too agile for Vickery, so you've got to be pretty careful not to be going one-on-one in a sort of running contest between those two.
Interesting that Preston Martin is up to 6 possessions now. He's had a habit recently of starting his games brilliantly. Did that last week, had 10 possessions in the opening term, finished with 17. So we'll keep a watch on that one. But right now it's the Dockers. Walters has got the football 40 metres out.
And just the player who actually started that drive was a significant part was Crowley. Got away from Delidio out on the wing. And Brett Delidio, when he is getting tagged and he's having a bit of a tough night, he's got to make sure that he puts in the work defensively, because that's one that Crowley's got up on him now.
Fife involved as well. Fife with 8 possessions, so he's been busy. Barlow 7. Barlow, as always, inconspicuous, but just accumulates. Walters, important kick this one. Generally is very good, and that's no exception. He puts it through, so the margin is back to just 8 now. So Walters has proven a dead-eye dick on the forward line. Was out of favour last season. He's worked his way back into the side late last year, came back and became a staple on the forward line. And he's very dangerous. He and Ballantyne a 1-2 punch. And I would say perhaps that Walters, at least in the short term, has gone past Ballantyne.
Yep. He's got himself in some pretty good.
Kicked a goal last week. 9-7 for 2013. He has been a live wire up forward. A real spark for them. Hanneth now running on the ball. Cochin got a little handball backwards. Quick kick out by Knight. Lateral. It's gathered by Mundy, who kicks again towards the boundary line. And gee, their kicking has been poor so far, Fremantle, particularly going forward. And concern, I'd say, for that man in his 150th game as a senior coach. They just haven't looked settled. Ricky Pettit got the footy on half-back now. Drives just beyond the wing. Marriage to target, drifting in Ibbotson. He didn't get his hands to the footy. Knocked off the ground by McGuan in front of Delidio. He's got 3 chasing him. Crowley was one of the men chasing. He ended up with the football, but it spills Martin's way. Back out for McGuan. He fires a handball for Ellis. Ellis's pop kick, not the required distance. Knight's wrapped up high.
Young fella Hanneth there. The intent was right. You could see almost his mind going into overdrive. He tried to get down as low as possible, but just slipped over the shoulder. No doubt about that as a free kick.
We've seen him kick these long goals in his days at the Adelaide Crows Knights, and he didn't do a whole lot last week against Collingwood. He needs to take these shots to try and consolidate his position in the team.
Just the one goal since switching across to the Tigers in his 2 games. This is his 3rd game tonight. Friday night footy, Knights kicking at Richmond's 4th. That's a wonderful kick. The Tigers are up and about. Well, bad luck for the young player in his first game. A few nerves, obviously, and very eager to lay the tackle. The Knights experienced, got to the footy first and really let Hanneth do the rest.
Yeah, I mean, he attacked the footy well, Hanneth. He obviously wanted to do the right thing and got himself low, but just slipped over at the last minute. That's a really good finish there by Chris Knights, and Lee did touch on he needs a big game, and that's a good way to start.
Played it well here, Knights. I mean, it's very hard for the big guys to get low at the best at times, but as soon as you lower your body weight, the big 200-centimetre ruckman, it's almost impossible not to tackle high.
Yep.
Tigers lead it by 14 points then, approaching quarter time. Friday night football. Marriage wins it down. Lost and taken to the ground right in the middle of Patterson Stadium.
Boys, at these centre bounces, Fremantle really opening up their 50. It's just a one-on-one in there with Bradley and Grimes.
Clever by Jackson, rather, kicking it towards the outer side. Ellis did nicely. Over the shoulder to Knights. Bounces one to Revolt. Held a long time in the tackle. It lingered. And he'll get the free kick. Down towards left half forward. Jack Revolt. Looks inside the 50. This one working its way towards the pocket. McGuan got his hands to it, couldn't hang on, found it on the ground. Well played, but the hand pass not so flash. McFarlane and Mzungu out very wide. Fife again, up into double figures now. Looks down towards half forward with a high ball. That's a pretty good one. Only one docker down there, Kepler Bradley, and he wins the free kick. He was aided by the kick coming in. It really did set him up. Now Kepler was pulled back by umpire Chamberlain.
That's what I mean, boys. I think they think Richmond are really vulnerable one-on-one in space in their 50.
So that whistle certainly helping Richmond. They push their numbers back. Long kick comes down towards full forward now. At the back they mop up and running it out again. Well done by White. The kick bouncing. Barlow chops it off. Here's Hanneth. It's acclimatising okay now. Spur, he got it across to Barlow. Good kick. Lockie Neal weaving his way inside. Wonderful tackle at the back by Floston. Geez, he's been impressive in his first quarter of senior football. He goes again, the young man. Wins the footy, then the handball into Mundy's boots. Back out to Neal. Pearce over the footy. And there's a whistle in there, is there? There's a whistle in the crowd, actually. It's going to be bounced just inside.
Terribly
50.
annoying if someone, as spectators, got a whistle in the crowd. They should be kicked out of the stadium if anyone has.
Agree with that.
Rucks go at it. Fife, third man up. Lost it again. Didn't have the football, surely. No free kick. Neal couldn't find a way through. In trouble, Koch, and Fife working his heart out at the moment. Mundy did well. Slipped one to Neal, to Ballantyne. Opens the angle and misses everything. It's flooding towards the boundary. It stays in. On the bounce, comes back towards Main. Goes at his second, nothing doing. Martin, splendid opening turn. Now, can he push on tonight as he kicks it out towards the wing? Taken by Fife. Fife falling to the ground on the bounce.
Now they're off.
Now they're in trouble. Pearce coughed it up. And McGuan's away.
McGuan's had a couple of bounces. Oh, this one bounces away from him and allows Johnson in. Does the tackle stick? It didn't. Into Revolt. Now Knights, he goes with a short one and Vickery hangs on.
Made it a bit harder than what it potentially could have been there, the Tigers.
Well, they were flowing forward, Richmond. They would have had about 6 players onto 3 defenders, and they still went to an almost contest. They made the kick, the last one, but they had plenty of numbers just to use that ascendancy to have a pretty clear shot at goal.
More like Mick McGuan than Luke McGuan. That's ended up with Vickery bouncing down the wing. Not sure that Mick would have liked it bouncing away from him like that. Vickery with 2 goals last week against the Magpies. Richmond have got their 5th. They lead by 20 points.
So I think one of the things that is, there seems to be plenty of space when Richmond go forward. And I think the fact that they're using Delidio as a forward and that for Crowley's are playing as a defender, that means there's a 5 versus 5 in the forward line for Richmond. I reckon if Delidio tries to take Mundy at the stoppages, create a bit of space for Cochin, this will all be win-win for Richmond.
Just going to love that garage band haircut. Vickery, very good in round 1. Very dangerous forward, complementing Revolt. And again tonight has started well. So the margin, 20 points. Tigers on top. Last 10 seconds of the term. So a decision by both ruckmen. Hannif.
Richmond.
Well, Hannif went at the football and hesitated and went again. You can hear the umpire explaining all of that. Early jumping, not on. Knights has got the football, but the siren will beat them. Quarter time at Patterson Stadium. And a flourishing start by the Tigers. They lead 5-2-32. Fremantle just 2 straight goals. Richmond jumping Fremantle. With offensive Fremantle on the ropes at the moment. They find goals hard to get, but they need a few. We'll be back on Friday night.